Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is peppermint tea, because I should drink more peppermint tea, in a lovely mug from the Spice and Tea Exchange, which I've been meaning to order from actually, because there was a tea I really wanted from there. But my sister decided to buy me my favorite tea from that place, which isn't the peppermint, but I'll have that another time, in this lovely houndstooth mug. Isn't it pretty? I really like it. Anyway. Um, And I do like peppermint. It's a very calming tea. It's really good for digestion, etc. I need to get more of it. Actually, just plain old peppermint. So, it's been a little while since I did my last video. I have all kinds of news, some good, some not good at all, and some in between stuff. A little bit of a sort of haul at the end, I think. The good news is very nice news indeed, which is that I reached 1,000 subscribers at last. I'm very happy about that. Thank you, everybody who subscribed to me. Thank you, everyone who mentioned me in your videos or, shouted me out somehow. I am very, grateful for that. It's always a good thing. I really want to do a little more shouting out myself. I've been a little lazy with that. I do mention people and stuff and recommend and whatever, but I could do better. But yeah, I really never thought I'd reach 1,000, because when I started the channel, I just thought, maybe I'll get 100 subscribers. Who knows? Because I had a blog for a very long time. It still exists basically, but I rarely update there. And yeah, I think I might have gotten 50 people. That was about it. But I guess it's a different medium. Things are different. Anyway, so I'm very happy about that. And I thought, I had two things in my mind. If I hit 1,000 subscribers or I hit 2 years on BookTube, I was going to do a Q&A. And I reached 1,000. I was all set to do the Q&A, request questions video for 1K. And then I got sidelined. So I will do it soon, but don't put questions in this in this video, because it won't be on the Q&A video if that's the case. Maybe I'll just wait until the 2-year anniversary. Who knows? We'll see. Somewhere at some point I'm going to do it though. But that kind of leads me to the bad news, because the reason why I was sidelined was because of, well, the worst news. Well, one of the worst news is ever to me is that you probably saw recently, if you were watching my videos at all, that I had a cat, Zenobia, who was 16 years old, which I was quite proud of, because I'd never had a cat live that long, and she was almost entirely my care throughout her entire life. With the exception of her first year, which, anyway. So I was proud of that, because all my other cats lived till about 13 tops, and that was it. So I was pretty happy about that, but then I found out she had a brain tumor, and, that basically there was not much to be done for it, and it's only a matter of time, that sort of thing. And but then after I took her to the vet, she started to rally. She started to do a little bit better, and her appetite was much better, and she was vocalizing a little bit more, which alarmed me. But otherwise, she seemed decent. Not kittenish, but to a point where I thought, oh, maybe I have more time. And then last Sunday, I woke up the night before. She had been fine, going to bed like normal, whatever. And then that morning I woke up hearing a crash. She was completely out of it. Whatever happened in her head kicked in. She was walking around, but she wasn't really taking note of anything. And and then she started, just walking into corners, and then just pressing her head against corners and walls, which if that's, if you know anything about pets, you know that if they do that, that is, take them to the vet right away. Do not hesitate. And I knew this was very bad. If she was just doing that, I would have already taken her to the vet, but she was also doing all kinds of movements involuntary movements. So it was terrible. It was happening on Sunday, and my veterinary office is closed on Sundays. And so was the emergency vet for some reason. So, and I didn't really want to take her to the emergency, but so it was a really rough day and a rough night, but I got her in Monday morning to her, the veterinarian office. And he was amazing, as far as both knowledgeable, which you want primarily for them to be a good doctor, but also just the bedside manner, both to her and to me. but it was really hard to say goodbye to Zenobia because I had her so long, and I think it would have been hard to say goodbye to any cat. Any of my cats. It's always hard. I've dealt with this before. But she was really long term. She had been with me through everything that I'd gone through in all these years. And, I'd lost other pets. I'd lost people in my life in various ways. And there she was, And now she isn't. So, I have two other cats, Freddie and Janie. Freddie is fun. Always hungry, but he's fun. I love him very much. And I love Janie too, but she's a little bit feral sometimes, a little standoffish. And I'm hoping that she'll step up, but I don't know. But I'm not looking to get a new cat anytime soon because that's just not really. I was very happy to be home more the past year or so, even though the reasons why obviously weren't great ones, but I am happy I got to spend more time with Zenobia and the other cats. But of course that made me even more attached because I saw so few people in my life in person. So they kind of were like surrogate people, almost. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. I guess if you have pets and you are, in this situation, kind of what I'm talking about. And so, yeah. Anyway, so it's been very hard for me to concentrate on even thinking about making videos or anything, even though I had all these ideas, but I was like, yeah, I'm not up to it. And I'm still not 100% up to it now. But I do still plan to pick up a little bit because I don't want to, I don't want to get totally stuck in a rut. It's been a really tough week. I did take a day off and just walk around the city in some of my favorite places. Just treating myself, as it were. I went back also to Central Park. I can't believe how lost I get in Central Park now. I mean, I always had trouble with directions there because it's just the way it's set up. You could easily get lost, but now so I'm gonna have to just make up for that by going there more often and getting my sense of direction back if possible. But yeah, so I've done what I can to sort of pass the time. A little bit of my work is picking up, which is good because I need to be keeping busy. But yeah, it's been a really, really, really tough week, and I don't think it's going to get easier right away, but it will get a little less, hopefully, painful. I don't know. So yeah, I've been reading, but I'm not going to talk about what I've been reading on this video. I was going to do like a whole mid-month one, but I'm going to just procrastinate all the challenges that I've been reading for them, but not as much as I wanted to. And I think anyone who has pets, who has any attachment to anybody and loses them will be like, yeah, don't worry, take your time. But you know how you kind of want to just get back into the swing of things? I mean, I don't want to sit around, but I am taking my time. And yeah, I'm also curious one thing you can comment about if you like is what do you guys do when you grieve? Do you pick up books that are familiar to you, or do you want to read something new? Everybody has a different style. So I am kind of curious about that. Yeah, so that's the really bad news, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about her. I was going to do a whole kind of tribute video to her, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. So the other news, which is kind of news-ish, how in the United States and probably other places, things are opening up more. There's all kinds of announcements about masks and everything, which I'm not going to get into because I'm confused. I'm still going to be as cautious as possible just because, I don't like to be arrogant. And, so I'm not going to talk about everything, although, it's nice to know that there are certain things I might be able to do this year that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. We'll see. But the libraries are starting to open up more, which, in other words, in the two brand, yes, always a motorcycle. Okay, so that's actually become a problem in my neighborhood. A lot of loud things, but anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so after when the lockdowns began, all the libraries closed, and then when they reopened in the summer, they opened just select branches, and it was no browsing. It's just pick up whatever you put on hold. And I'm only talking about physical books because ebooks are a whole different thing. And so I started checking out more library books when I could. When they opened up one near my office, which I go to usually about once a week, so that was good. They reopened it, but if you couldn't return things on time or you couldn't renew things, you were not going to get charged a fine. And they kept putting off the date to which it extended the grace period. Now it's till the end of June, and I have a feeling it's going to stay that way, and it will probably start. They'll probably start finding starting in July. But I'll let you know if it changes, because there's not only are they opening up for a little more browsing in the branches that are open, which is good, but they're also going to open up soon. I forgot if it's in June or July. I can't remember when they said. I think it's June. They're going to open up a lot of the other locations in both the New York Public Library system and the Queens Library system, which is good. I am actually very glad about that. I really am, because I like anything that's kind of going back to some semblance of normality, I guess, when it's good normal. But I've kind of, before COVID, I always had to struggle with the books that I took out, because they became my priority instead of books I owned and wanted to read, because of the due date. So, you'd have some books that you could keep renewing, but you didn't always know if you're going to be able to keep renewing them. So you still try to keep them a priority. And then you had books that were brand new that you knew you couldn't renew. So you really made those like top priority. Meanwhile, all these books that you wanted to read otherwise, you had to fit in somehow. Well, it hasn't been that way recently, because I could check out all the books, and if I couldn't renew it, I didn't have a fine. I could keep it out as long as I wanted. I could read library books when I felt like it. I could read the books I owned. Yeah, I mean, I got spoiled in that sense. Oh, books are falling. I got spoiled, and that's good in a way. It was fun, but the party's over in that way. And so now I have to figure out all kinds of prioritizing of books and what do I really want. I have returned a few, but again, I'm only saying this is not good or bad news. It's just something I have to adjust to, and it's not the biggest deal. It's really not my biggest problem in life. But I hate change, and even good change sometimes is hard for me to adjust to. My brain gets all, and on top of everything that, with losing Zenobia, I think my brain is just gone. So even the good thing like that, I sort of had a little bit of I shut down a little bit for a little while, just thinking about what am I going to do with all these library books, which is silly. But, even if it's a first world problem, still something. In a way, I kind of want that kind of problem, because it's a good distraction to keep my mind occupied. Maybe? I don't know. So anyway, that's just me, kvetching about things that that really don't matter. Well, that last thing, obviously, not the previous things. But so I just thought I'd just continue this by showing you some of the books I've taken out in May. I don't know if they're all of them, but most of them. And a lot of these are new, so they wouldn't be renewable if I took them out, anytime later. So the first one is a cozy mystery that I'd seen before in bookshops or whatever, and it just sounded really fun. This came out in 2015, though. I keep trying these new cozy mystery series. This is a bookstore cafe mystery. It's very me looking, but we'll see if I like it. So this is Death by Tea, and it's by Alex Erickson. Someone just brewed up a murder. So it's got a beautiful picture of afternoon tea. I don't see any scones, but still it looks amazing. And a cat that actually kind of looks like Zenobia, and also kind of looks like another cat that used to be Zenobia's friend. His name was Boobuck. So kind of a combination. He's got a half mustache. Or she. I don't know. I don't know. Is the cat's name in here? I'll find out. But anyway, so yeah, that might be a fun little cozy thing to read. I'd seen this on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I gotta try this. This is The Windsor Knot by S.J. Bennett. Wasn't it Alan Bennett who wrote a book about the Queen of England too? Was that his name? Was it Uncommon Reader? About the Queen becoming a book nerd? Something like that. But anyway, probably no relation. I'm just making connections once again. Apparently this is the Queen of England actually investigates something, a murder or something. Yeah, Her Majesty the Queen investigates. So I thought that could be really fun. It was written a few years ago. What, was it written a few years ago? Let me see. Or was it recent? Let me see. Okay, no, it wasn't. Okay. So, it just got published, 2021, but it's taking place in the early spring of 2016. So that should be interesting. I was in England in 2016. But May, I think it was May, yeah. Oh boy. So, and then I just took this out, which isn't like deep reading, it's just kind of a fun thing that I wanted to look at. because I love books about bookshops, books about anything bookish. And I just thought this was really cute. This is Footnotes from the World's Greatest Bookstores. Right? Oh, I also need a haircut. But anyway, by Bob Eckstein, forward by Garrison Keillor. I know that name. True tales and lost moments from book buyers, booksellers, and book lovers. You know what this actually kind of looks like a little bit? Because I was near there the other days. I don't think it is. Is it? Let me just see if there's a... Doesn't say... Ugh. Don't want to take up too much of your time wandering through things. Yeah, it doesn't really say. But it kind of looks a little bit like Alabaster Bookshop, which is right around the corner from the Strand, but it's on what used to be Book Row, which used to be on 4th Avenue in Manhattan in the Village, which was it the Village or right above the Village? Doesn't matter. Around the Village, but it was just all these bookshops just right next to each other, and all these bookshop owners, very dusty places. It must have been amazing. But there were it doesn't look exactly like that bookshop, but it does though, because I was there when I took one of my days off and just needed to wander, and I was there right when they were opening. So I was about to look, and then the guy kept coming out pushing these, and I kept having, where do I go? Okay, oh, hey, oh, look, that's how I am, because I'm trying not to get in the way, but I end up going, oh, which is really not attractive. But anyway, so I think there's a bunch of pictures of different bookstores that I've either wanted to go to or that used to be there, like Gotham Book Mart, which used to be in Manhattan, no longer there. Bookhampton, Long Island, New York, 1971 to present. Yay. A lot of New York ones. Is this all New York? I don't think it. No, it has Hanway. It has Virginia, Watermill. Ooh, Scotland. The one in Venice. India. They have one in India. Shakespeare Company from Paris. Yeah, okay. So this is Alabama. What do you know? Actually, another one in India. Goa, India, actually. Look at this place. Look at this place. I'm offended. I really want to own this place. But anyway. Not own this place. Own this book. But we'll see. Anyway, that is gorgeous. Anyway, I own enough books. I don't need to ever go back to a bookshop, probably for the rest of my 40s at least. But I still love looking at. Okay. And then I saw this because I saw this guy interviewed on, I don't know, one of the morning shows. On television. I do watch television sometimes. And I just thought this could be interesting. Maybe. We'll see. This just came out, I think. Let's see. 2021, once again. See, this is a lot of, you'll notice a lot of the books I take out of the library are books that came out recently because I don't want to be a cheapskate. I do want to buy books, and I do buy new books sometimes. But this in itself is not a very big book, and it's $26. Can you imagine if all the books I bought new? I would be completely broke. So, and I just had a lot of veterinary costs. Oh, wow. Because it wasn't just Zenobia. Freddie, Janie, all of them have been quite pricey in the past year. Anyway, sorry, a bit of a downer. How to Be Human, An Autistic Man's Guide to Life by Jory Fleming with Lyric Winnick. Okay, so it's not a long book. Might be interesting. I do like reading everything I can get my hands on about autism, so... Although I'm a little behind in my reading of that other book I have. Okay, and then this is a book I've been waiting for. Alison Weir has done a whole series on a lot of things. She's written a lot. But she did a series on the wives of Henry VIII because, you know. And I read some of them. I actually haven't read all of them. I DNF'd the one about Catherine Howard, which was the most recent one. I just didn't want to read about that again. She just makes me so sad, Catherine Howard. But this just came out, and this is about Catherine Parr, the sixth wife. So it's the last one of the series, obviously, if you know anything about Henry VIII, that he had 6 wives. It's pinkish. Yeah. So, I like Catherine Parr. She's probably my favorite of the queens, although I kind of like Anne of Cleves as well. I find Anne Boleyn very interesting, and so I also find Catherine of Aragon very interesting. Catherine Howard I just feel bad for, and I mentioned Anne Boleyn, right? Because she's very interesting. Oh yeah, Jane Seymour. I mean, there wasn't really enough about her. I read the book about her. It was okay, but I mean, no offense to her, but Anyway, so that I already started and I like so far. This one also came out. So I've mentioned on some of my videos before, Edward Rutherford, he writes, well, the first book I read of his was called London, because obviously I love London a lot, and so I saw that and had to read it. It was a book that starts out in, I guess, I don't know if it was Celtic or pre-Celtic. I think it was Celtic. Yeah, right when the Romans, I think, were coming to England and Britain. And onward, following families onward from that time all the way down to like the Blitz around in the 40s. Just following, like, they start with the one or two families, and then, as the Saxons come and, the Normans come, then more families are followed down through the years. They interact with each other, not knowing usually that their ancestors interacted with each other. And it's historical fiction, and it's fun. So he's written about London, different parts of England, Sarum, the forest. He wrote books about Ireland. He wrote one about Russia. He wrote a book about New York and Paris. I think might have been the last one that I read, and it was pretty good. So this one is China, and he's finally came out with another book. I don't remember when the last one was. China, and it takes place starting around the Opium Wars. So I think 1839. So it's not going to be like ancient China till now. It's a little bit more compact. But that's okay, because I really don't have time to read anything. So this is so heavy. Like, it's not big. It's, let me see how many pages it is. Well, actually, okay, no, bigger than I thought. Bigger on the inside. 764 pages. So, yeah, it's kind of big. Anyway, hopefully I will be able to read that before the end of June, right? So many things to read. Anyway, so that is everything I've been up to recently. Good and bad and in between. Let me know what you think of these books. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you've done, maybe when you've lost a pet, etc. And everything else. Once again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for viewing, everybody who's watched my videos. Still really appreciate it. And talk more about that another time. So this is Catherine at Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day. Goodbye.